Northcentral connected. It is September. School's in full swing. And we've got some good news today, hopefully, I think, right?
News is better.
Okay. Yeah. With me, as always, is our CEO and General Manager, Kevin Doddridge.
Hello, everyone.
Our Director of Marketing and Business Development, Michael Bell-Panning.
Hey.
And I'm your Media Specialist, Justin Jaggers. And we're finally happy to say, JD, it's good to have you back.
Good to be here.
In your place last month was a pile of beef jerky, and we really didn't agree with what it had to say. So,
Well, just goes to show how easily you can be replaced.
No.
What'd you do with all that stuff?
It's in the corner over there.
Oh, okay.
You hungry? There's some
I'm
Cliff Bars
always
in there too, I think. It's something we might be looking into doing in October, November. So yeah. All right. Well, so to start off, we're going to start with you, Kevin, and hopefully we've got some better news.
Oh yeah, we've had tough news the last couple of months when we got hit with the fuel cost adjustment from TVA jumped up dramatically for the months of July and August. So the rates were as high as they've ever been. And of course that fuel cost is the cost of a generation fuel that TVA has and passes on to us. And really by contract, we have to pass that on to the retail member. And also at the same time, we had just incredible heat. You've got to remember that. And very little recovery at night with the humidity. So we had multiple months of incredible heat, high rates, and it's been tough on everybody. We've been trying to work with everybody out there and make sure we can make payment arrangements. Making sure that we're not disconnecting for non-payment, something that's very unpleasant to do, and make sure that we're not doing it when it's too hot out there. We don't need to be doing that. So very difficult couple of months, and for those people that had their meters read in August, they still may get a bill that's abnormally high, but we are happy because we said this earlier. We said as quick as those rates went up, those fuel costs, we're hoping that they'll start coming down and start trickling down and seeing some leveling out. So we are. We're going to start with the September billings. We'll see retail rates come down roughly about 11%. And that'll take a big chunk out of that. And, the days are a little milder. The nights are definitely milder. So we hope to see the electric consumption come down as well. So hopefully those bills that you occur in September, may not receive them till later, maybe early October when you actually receive them. But we're hoping they will be a lot less, and then also hoping that in October that fuel cost adder comes down about another 4 or 5%. Hopefully everybody can get caught up then. And we acknowledge, I think our fuel costs that we pay to TVA in the month of July alone was pushing $5 million. So it's been just incredible cost issues that we've had all summer. We have been trying to stay on top of maintenance, and that has not been very popular as you get more into the urban areas. In those areas where we have overhead lines, in those residential developments where we have overhead lines, where the people that developed the property decided not to put the power underground to work with us and do that, there are some that still have overhead lines. Some of them with very little setback have very few trees and don't have a lot of room to get them up within our lines. And over the years, they've grown up into the lines. So we've had to trim them. And if you're an individual and you've got your home and you've had it for a long time and you've got a tree that you're particularly fond of and provides shade and you've had it for a long time, seeing it trimmed on is not something that many of them wanted. And it really is one of those things that doesn't make any of us happy. We have to remember that there are some utilities that don't trim like they should, and their reliability is very poor. So we're doing it because, we hate to really get into the saying, it's a fact that by statute we are asked to maintain our property, and by statute we are told that we can cut trees around the line. But having the right's not really what we always like to remind people. It's just the responsible thing to do. Not just for your power, but for your neighbor's power down the street, and on and on and on. So the people that have been doing this trimming, if you call in, if you've got a particular issue, there is a chance that we may be able to replace the tree. We may be able to come up with a slow-growing tree and move it somewhere else in the yard where it won't get in the line, or might be able to take this isn't a popular response, but sometimes tree trimming's like a bad haircut. And if you'll give it a month or so and let it green out a little bit, it's not quite as bad. And then maybe when that happens, we can get some crews, if you're still unsatisfied, and maybe see if we can get into some of these areas and shape them up. But right away is an incredible expense for North Central, but it's a necessary expense. It's the expense that during the last ice storm had power off on our system for less than 40 hours, while other systems went for days. And that's the reason that we have to do it. It's for reliability, and also in a lot of situations, it's a safety issue as well, which I'm sure JD will acknowledge.
Yeah, in many of those cases where you have the shallow setbacks, let's just say it's 35 foot from the curb, and then your utility easement down there is going to be 5 or 6 feet off the curb. When you plant a tree that's going to mature into a pretty sizable tree, obviously there's going to be a conflict there. And Kevin has spoke about the reliability, but from a safety perspective of it, we really have to take that into consideration. A lot of times homeowners, members, they can see that the trees are encroaching the lines, and they'll get up there and they'll try to cut on them themselves. And that's one thing that we try to strongly discourage most homeowners, because of cost and the sheer weight of a ladder that tall, are going to use an aluminum ladder. And as we show, many times on our demonstration trailer, our electric demonstration trailer, aluminum ladders and high voltage electric lines do not mix. And so, we really, try to get in there and do the preventative tree trimming for liability, safety. We don't want members up in there getting into the danger zone, trying to cut their own trees. Kids, in a lot of these subdivisions, got a lot of kids. I know, when I was a kid, climb trees, all the time. And so we really have to make sure that we maintain that and just make it safe, for the neighborhood, for the people around there. And so if you see a tree encroaching a power line, please do not take that upon yourself. Call us. We've got folks that can come out and take a look at it. It's not something that we enjoy doing, just going by and really cutting someone's tree, but it is a responsible thing on our behalf that we have to do.
Yeah, one of the things that we hear of probably most often too is folks getting concerned at how long debris stays on the ground when we're trimming those trees. And we try and impart on our contractors to get back as soon as possible, but just the sheer nature of the work, it's better for them to cut and go on down the line and then come back a week or two later.
In the rural areas, it takes a little bit longer because they do cut while the weather's nice, and then maybe drag the brush later on when the weather's maybe not quite as good. But now some of these urban areas, I think they've done a pretty good job of trying to get it up in the next 2 or 3 days, which if you wanted to mow that weekend or spray or something like that, sometimes that's not fast enough either. But yeah, they try to get back in there as soon as they could.
Yeah, but you just got to remember though, when you hear other people around us have these outages that go on many days, it is a little painful, to see the trees cut the way they are, and it's a fact that we have to come in there and do it. But when you need it the most, on those coldest days, when the weather is the worst, and the fact that the trees are trimmed and the member still has electric service, that's what it's all about.
All right. So speaking of safety and everything else, with hurricane and storm season coming up, what do you have for us?
Well, a couple things, and really we're just now beginning to get into the storm season, and we'll really have some stuff to put out later on in the year. But really wanted to just kind of get in that mindset and just start to think about being prepared, just making sure that we have things around the house, water, batteries, charge our cell phones, just things like that. So really we want to just kind of get that idea out there and start talking about it a little bit now. We'll have a lot more information on it, next month. One of the things that we're really excited about that's fixing to happen here real soon is Friday we have Safety Day. And, once again, we have the opportunity in which I am very, very grateful for, that Kevin allows us to just close the office down for a couple of hours.
8 to 10.
And really just to focus
That's
on
2 hours.
It's 2 hours. He said a couple.
But it's really an opportunity for us to focus on safety. It's not a time when we talk about, anything else. We don't talk about a lot of the issues that may come up, from an HR standpoint, which many groups do. This is a time that is set aside where we talk about safety. We celebrate the good things that we have accomplished, the milestones that we've met. We celebrate the fact that, when you just think about the volume of work through our fiber effort, through our right-of-way efforts, the building of new lines and subdivisions, overhead and underground. Kevin certainly could go on and on just talking about, just how much how many things have been added. The fact that we did it, and at the end of the day, everybody went home safe. Everybody got home to the people that they loved and the people that loved them. And, companies, a lot of times, I think they get caught up in, they have a lot of rules, they have a lot of programs, they focus on the numbers and everything, which that's important, and I don't mean to take away from it. But at the end of the day, people going back home to their families, the commitment that we have, that their families have allowed them to come in and allowed us to have them for a few hours of the day. And they may go home a little bit dirtier, a little bit tireder, but certainly at the end of the day, they get back home to their families. And really this, to me, this safety day is even more special. We talk about, the fuel adjustment. We talk about all the hot weather and, just how all of that, affects a member's bill and stuff like that. But then we think about the human aspect of it. All of our co-workers and stuff that are working out there to, whether it's maintaining the right of way, whether it's installing fiber infrastructure, whether it's installing overhead or underground subdivisions, they're out there in 100-degree plus weather, all day long. And the focus on giving them what they need, making sure that they're staying safe and not getting too hot and things of that nature. So, we'll definitely celebrate those things as well. Talking about the positive things that happen, we have a initiative here at North Central where when employees report other employees for doing good things, for doing things that they should and doing it the proper way. And, employees and supervisors and stuff, they nominate their fellow coworkers to be acknowledged for that. And as a part of that acknowledgement, we have a safety coin. And that safety coin on both sides, it talks about the commitment of safety, not just, in the cooperative, but in our community, with our membership, with everyone. And so Kevin will have an opportunity to acknowledge, those employees that have done something where somebody else, not themselves, but somebody else that says, hey, this employee did this, and I'd like to nominate them to be acknowledged for doing something safe. So we'll have an opportunity to acknowledge them. And then, as always, we'll have an opportunity to acknowledge people who have met some really important milestones this year. Corey Critcher will receive his certificate for completing the lineman apprenticeship program. And at the end of last year, after Safety Day last year, he had reached that milestone. So we'll celebrate with Corey and a couple of his family members here on such an important day. So we look forward to that. But again, just very, very appreciative that we're able to take time once a year just to be thankful for the good, safe work that we've done and kind of pat each other on the back.
Okay. Cool. We're looking forward to that. So the office at 4600 North Central Way will be closed from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Friday, September 9th. And speaking of other events.
Yeah, we do. We've got several events upcoming. I think probably the biggest announcement that we've had recently was the announcement of the Olive Branch Light Garden. And excuse me, let me come out and clear my throat. I've got the crud now.
DJ Cool.
Yeah. But Olive Branch Light Garden was recently announced, and what this is it'll go on from November 22nd to through New Year's Eve.
That's right.
And I think it was going to end with a fireworks show, and this is going to be a pedestrian light show, Christmas light show, along the same caliber as Starry Nights and Zoo Lights. If
It's
you've
gonna be
seen
awesome.
that, yes, it's going to be fantastic. So the group that we've been working with the city to help make sure that they're going to have reliable and safe power out there. But that's going to be huge for our community, and I think it'll bring in some folks to see what Olive Branch really is about, and excited to be a part of that. The Olive Branch Business Expo will be going on October 12th. October 12th at Whispering Woods. It used to be at North Central's office, but they're moving back to Whispering Woods. Post COVID, we don't. They're expecting larger crowds, so it'll give them more space to spread out. And also, one thing we're going to be participating in is the Bridging the Gap career fair that the DeSoto Council's putting on at the Landers Center, and that's going to be October 18th and 19th.
That's a cool deal.
And we'll be there, hopefully, along with other utility providers, to talk about. We're going to be talking about our electric service and electrical safety, and the careers, the many different careers that are within the utility industry, and then we'll kind of flow down that pathway into telecommunications, and we'll talk about fiber opportunities and get kids geared up to start thinking about their career path.
And we will be unveiling something extremely cool at that career fair as well. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that.
So when your kids come home from school and say they're going to be taking a field trip, be excited about it, because we'll be talking to them about career opportunities. And just another exciting announcement is we have opened up the full Byhalia East fiber phase for North Central Connect, and that's if you live in the areas along Highway 178 and Interstate 22, French Road, St. Paul, down to South Victoria, you now have access to the fastest and most reliable internet speeds by folks you know. And if you visit northcentralconnect.com, you can go ahead and sign up. If you've already expressed interest, we emailed you automatically to let you know that the service is available. So hurry up, get in line, and let's get you connected. So
662-932-3500 is the number for North Central Connect if you have any questions.
that's it.
662-895-2151 is the number for North Central Electric if you have any questions. Be sure to follow us. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Vimeo.
MySpace.
Tom hasn't accepted our friend request yet, so we don't know. But, so talking about celebrations, you guys realize what happened 4 years ago this time this year? Episode 1.
No.
Yes.
4 years.
4 years of the podcast, and I've got our Podbean page pulled up. 6,500 downloads, and this makes episode 38.
The video killed the radio star of podcast.
Exactly. So we appreciate you guys for listening, and email us, podcast@northcentralelectric.com, and let us know if there's something that you would like to hear on the podcast, or a business that you'd like us to promote, or an event or anything like that. We definitely could use more content on this, but it's been a really cool 4 years, and we started just downstairs in the conference room, and now we've got our own studio. So, all right, we'll be back in October. It is Cybersecurity Month. It is Cooperative Month. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It is
Emergency Preparedness Month.
Emergency Preparedness Month. We might have something for that.
And annual meeting.
Annual meeting. So
I need to write some of that stuff down.
We'll make sure you get where you need to be.
Yeah, we'll shoot you an event invite. So, all right. Well, y'all have a great September.